Welcome to the 7th installment of How to Save America. In the previous installments, I have sought to demonstrate that we have a moral right to live as free, sovereign individuals, and that it is moral to defend our God-given rights by whatever means necessary. I have tried to get you to think beyond protests and the political process, to taking hold of and defending your individual rights, because it's the right thing to do for you as an individual, and to show that no matter what system of government we live under, the exercise of our rights is not dependent upon the permission of those in power or of our fellow citizens.
I also hope that by now you agree that our government is no better than a common criminal in most of its relationships with us. It is a criminal enterprise based on theft and intimidation. It exists not to protect your rights, but to protect itself, to continue feeding and growing in power and scope. In doing so, it has reduced every one of us from free, sovereign individuals to serfs, slaves whose life and property are not their own, but only exist at the pleasure of the state. This government has trampled on every one of our natural rights and every specific right enshrined in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It has happened because we, as the American people, have let it happen. We have not protested against every encroachment. We have not let the powers that be know that in no uncertain terms that we will not suffer any violation of our rights. So many of us have been duped into believing that the government is there to keep us safe, take care of us, to make things fair. So we trade liberty for security. We hand over our property and put ourselves in a regulatory straitjacket. We live in fear. We own nothing, and we are paralyzed. Liberty is exiled. As human beings with natural and God-given rights, we are not meant to live this way. If you agree and want to live as you were meant to live, as a free, sovereign individual, you need to be prepared. The greatest threat to any bully is someone willing to stand up and say no and back it up with action. The greatest threat to a criminal government are sovereign individuals who refuse to comply with its immoral and illegal dictates and are willing to defend their rights by any means necessary. Now, of course, the bully or the state will not take kindly to any challenge to its authority or activities. After all, its authority to steal our liberty and property exists only within its own collective mind, and a challenge to that authority is an attack on its own reason for existence. This it cannot abide, and it will lash out. The tools we have allowed our government to utilize against us are vast, and the next several installments will go into the government's illegal actions and how to protect yourself from them. We are now moving into the area of noncompliance, of ignoring specific dictates of our criminal government that violate our rights, of choosing to live as sovereign individuals, and in the United States of America under the supreme law of the land, the Constitution, which, by law, all laws must be subservient to. Do not, however, expect the law or the Constitution to be adhered to by people who are, by definition, criminals protecting a criminal enterprise. We have lived in a post-constitutional nation for a long time. It's just that the violations of our founding documents are so much more flagrant. The only property we think we own is possessed only at the pleasure of the state. It can be seized at any time without benefit of due process. Have you ever heard of civil asset forfeiture laws? You can be labeled as a terrorist by the exercise of your First Amendment rights and detained indefinitely without the benefit of charges or trial. We are no longer secure in our papers. All our activities and property are exposed before the surveillance state. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. But these are things we must know, things we must be prepared to combat and circumvent.
It is time to rearrange our lives and affairs in a way that's not in accordance with what the culture and the state deem normal, and does not comply with the state's desire for control. It will, however, put the control back where it belongs, with you and I, sovereign individual Americans. The next several installments will go into specific violations of the Bill of Rights and how we can overcome them.
Until then, may God be with us, and may we always act with honor and justice.